Hey YouTube. Um um I'm doing another stop. Alright, I'm gonna have to mute this. Alright. Hey YouTube. On Wednesday, I can do a video. It's just that'll be my last video that I can talk on for a while. Because some things are gonna be happening, so I won't be able to talk from Thursday on until further notice. So when I can though, you'll hear my voice. But anyway, we're gonna play. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, that kid's video's on there. I'm gonna watch that. But anyway, anyway, might just listen to some more music and whatnot. I know it's taken me a while, cause yeah, it's. Alright, this one's gonna be Perfect Insanity by Disturbed, and yeah, I can find it. I can find it here. Okay. Alright, so here goes. Or wait a second, hold on. No, this isn't the right one. I've seen one better from the actual artist that they posted. Hold on. This one.
When it's tea time with all of your closest friends.
There we go, that's better. Okay. So, might do this a little bit differently. And I might watch some other video. Yeah. Coco. Come here. Come on. This is a food reviewer. His name is, he's a food reviewer and a video game reviewer. His name's Brutal Moose. I'm gonna be watching his Boston Market review. So, enjoy. Come here, Coco.
At Boston Market, you can get the chicken America loves and the chicken America wants. Because now you can buy a whole chicken, double chicken, then slow chicken, so it's always the chicken America loves. And we guarantee 100% chicken.
I'm back. My name's Chef Ian Brutal Foods, and I haven't eaten anything in 5 months. And I'm about to break that streak with some Boston Market frozen meals. I was honestly never a huge fan of Boston Market as a child, but maybe these nearly expired frozen feasts will change my mind. Today I will be tasting the Boston Market Salisbury steak, the chicken parmesan, and of course the beef steak and pasta. All three very scary meals, especially because I haven't eaten a frozen dinner since... I'm not sure my stomach is really equipped for this, but let's get started. Salisbury steak in a savory beef gravy with rotel pasta in a creamy 3-cheese sauce. Out of all of the frozen meals that I've tried, Salisbury steak seems to be the most reliable food format. It's also an excellent source of protein, which is maybe the only positive thing I'll say all day about it. I will say though, I'm not the biggest fan of mac and cheese. I think I've said this before, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Oh boy, that looks frozen. I'm actually a little surprised. It's been long enough since I've opened one of these. I'm actually a little bit surprised. Like, I get it. You know, mac and cheese, it's gonna look different when it's frozen because the cheese hasn't melted. But that doesn't mean that I have to love how it looks. Because it looks weird. It looks, honestly, a little more like ramen to me than noodles. You can actually smell it, though. Maybe not. I feel like I smell the mac and cheese. This is an airtight seal, so I don't really see how that's possible. But something smells cheesy. Alright, Salisbury steak. It smells pretty good. You know, I haven't smelled the smell in quite some time. Basically smells like a mixture of beef, gravy, and sadness. Let's dig in. Oh, so wet. Love a drippy meal. Everyone loves a drippy meal. Guess I'll just put this in here. I don't have anywhere else to put this. Let's go in here. The cheese definitely needs to be stirred. Oh, no. Cheese is very watery. Cheese is very chicken. Reminds me a little bit of a wet nacho cheese, just by the looks of it. Not really by the smell of it. Just smells like cheese. You know, it's not repulsive. It's very wet. I would say that the flavor is mild. It's got like a hint of cheese. It's mostly water, but there's some cheese in there. I've had worse. As a not a very big fan of mac and cheese, I'm gonna label this mac as okay. Mac as okay.
Okay, this is my favorite part because the music is so kick butt in this part. It's not even funny. So here goes. Let me go a little bit. Yeah, the music in this part after he says it's really
not a very
good.
big fan of mac and cheese, I'm gonna label this mac as
If he says after he says the mac and cheese is okay, this is my favorite part because the music's like, oh. So I mean it's awesome. But I don't know the artist or anything. It might just be a like editor thing or something. I don't know. But this is my favorite part.
okay. I'm gonna downgrade it. The more I eat, the more I feel like
Alright, that was my favorite part. But yeah, anyway, back to the review.
love it. I'm gonna downgrade it to kind of okay, which is still pretty good. But let's take a look next door over here. The star of the show, the Salisbury steak. You know, sometimes they put marking. Oh, there they are. I was gonna say. Sometimes they put fake grill marks on the meat, and yep, there it is. I like the touch. I know it's fake, but I prefer to see those grill marks on there. Yep. That's Salisbury steak. Kind of like being back at a cafeteria. It kind of tastes like cafeteria food to me now. I mean, it's pretty good. It tastes exactly as it looks, like a lump of miscellaneous meat smushed together for my pleasure. Would I stand for line in it? No. Would I eat it in a food emergency? Also no. I actually am pretty hungry today, so it's doing a good job of filling me up. Pretty standard fare for a Salisbury steak, I'd say. I honestly think the biggest drawback of this meal is the mac and cheese. I would just prefer to have a nice, stash of mashed potatoes here. Pretty good. That is a solid Salisbury steak. If you're a fan of frozen Salisbury steak, you won't be disappointed by this one. And if you like mac and cheese, hey, this might end up being the meal for you. When you look at the reviews of this, though, it's kind of taken a beating. People don't really love this Salisbury steak meal. This review here seems to imply that an older version of this meal used real mushrooms, and that made me want to kind of search around for anything that looked like a mushroom, and you know, I'm not able to find anything. Like, is this a mushroom? Not really sure. No, it wasn't. Oh, here we go. This was substantial. This is a substantial lump of something. I think that was a mushroom. The gravy tastes like wet dog food, so does the Salisbury steak for that matter, and you can't even tell the mushrooms are mushrooms. They look like bits of wet bread and taste about the same as wet bread. Accurate. From box to plate, it is a very vague experience, vaguely reminiscent of good mac and cheese, vaguely reminiscent of gravy and meat that is the correct shape. I'm just gonna go ahead and take a guess and say that this is gonna be the best meal of the three. I've always been a fan of the Salisbury steak, so I decided to start with the least intimidating, but now it's time to move on. It's time to get intimidated. Next up is chicken parmesan. Lightly breaded all-white meat chicken on a bed of fresh pasta in a rich marinara sauce. You know, usually I feel like these things have quotes on the box about how delicious they are. I see no such quotes on this box. All they're willing to brag about is that this is all-white meat chicken. A chicken parmesan seems like a really tricky meal to make as a frozen experience. It is a clear combination of two very different textures. You've got the gooiness of the noodles and the sauce mixed with that crispy outside of the chicken. The question we have to ask ourselves here is, do we think that a microwave meal will be able to produce a crispy chicken parmesan? My guess is no. You know, the picture here, the top on the chicken, looks a lot like a Lunchables pizza to me, and I think that's a great sign. Looks like a lasagna. Looks very lasagna-esque. I will say that it does look immediately more appealing than the Salisbury steak did. There's a lot more going on here. You've got the noodles, you've got the cheese, you've got the chicken, you've got the sauce. It all looks pretty good. It's just that one crispy question that looms. But let's get started. Let's cook it up. Let's cook it up. Let's cook it up. All right. Chicky parm, a good old chicky parm.
Chicky parm.
It's quite warm. This looks pretty, I don't know. I feel like this looks okay. I've had good luck with the frozen spaghetti in the past, so that should be fine. It's mostly this chicken that I'm not jazzed to eat, but I don't know. I don't know. There's a tiny section of chicken that has no sauce on it. I'm gonna go for that first because I think it's gonna be the crispiest. Oh, come on. Hate it. Smushy. No. This is literally the opposite of what I want any type of fried chicken to be. It's very wet. The breading, especially on the bottom, very, very soggy. Not even a hint of a crunch remaining. In fact, on the bottom, the breading has basically come completely off just because of how wet and soggy it is. I'm honest, I'm barely even tasting it. I'm so focused on the texture that I can't taste it. It tastes like marinara sauce with a little bit of cheese, just a little bit. I guess I have to go in for at least one more to make sure. I'm trying to figure out if I can taste the chicken. They're bragging about their all-white meat chicken, and it's about the tiniest, saddest little piece of chicken I ever did see. I really don't like it. The breading and the cheese and the sauce is almost this gelatin consistency. It's like a piece of thin chicken wrapped in a marinara flavored Jell-O. That is how I would describe this, and I'm not into it. The spaghetti's not much better. Very wet, very noodly, very flavorless. I feel like with a lot of marinaras, you can tell just visually if it's a nice, thick, and tasty marinara, or if it's a watery, sad marinara. And it's pretty clear which one we have here, I think. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's a shame that I dislike the chicken so much because it's really where all of the flavor is. The noodles, despite how nice and seasoned they look, don't really taste like much. It's just not good. It's not good. The sauce isn't good. The noodles aren't good. About the only thing I really want to eat is the all-white meat chicken, but I can't get to it because it's in a Jell-O of gross. If we remove the breading, right? Let's remove the breading. In the culinary industry, we call this food surgery, and it is encouraged. In fact, this is considered to be a very fancy way to eat your meal. You just got to remove the parts that you don't like, and eventually you'll be left with, oh no, doesn't that look good? See, that's what I don't want to eat. This right here, this is the breading on the chicken that was surgically removed. Yeah, it looks gross. Now they've got a chicken with less breading. The chicken's not bad. If you can get to it, the chicken's not bad. Everything else, absolutely terrible. The second saddest thing I've ever put in my mouth. Well said, mystery reviewer on Walmart.com. You know, I noticed on Walmart.com they seem to have hid the review section. I don't know if they did that to specifically hide it from me, but I was personally offended.
Nobody makes chicken like Boston Market. Now, Boston Market chicken is ready in your freezer.
Now, I was led to believe by watching all of these Boston Market commercials as preparation for this video that chicken is Boston Market's, their big thing. They used to be called Boston Chicken. That's how much chicken means to them. And I kind of think this is a disgrace. I think that if Mr. Boston, the founder of Boston Market, were to see this chicken today, he would cry, I guess. I actually don't know anything about Boston. Beef steak. Beef steak. Beef steak and pasta. Everybody loves a good beef steak and pasta. What is the difference between a beef steak and steak? Not sure. Maybe it's just for clarification. So it's not a pork steak. It's not a chicken steak. It's a beef steak and pasta with malfada pasta and mushrooms smothered in a savory brown gravy. The feature here is slow-cooked prime beef roast rib. I'm a big fan of mushrooms. I'm a big fan of savory gravy, and I'm a huge fan. Okay. I feel like I really need to give up the idea that one of these frozen meals is actually gonna look appetizing out of the box. Because they never do. It looks fine. You got noodles, you got beef steak, presumably, and then you got gravy. That's what they said would be in here, so I'm not surprised to find it there. It's frozen. It's cold. It's beef steak. Alright, somebody fucking end me already. This might do it. This smelled awful while cooking. It didn't smell like a nice gravy. It didn't smell like a nice beef steak. It just smelled nasty. Looks very brown. It's a very rustic looking meal. It's just so wet. These are really thick noodles. They're so slimy. Just slimy. I don't want a slimy noodle. It's like these are overcooked, too mushy. I'm not sure. You know, it's not bad. As shocking as it is, that's not too bad. It reminds me of a nice, slow roasted beef something or another. Out of all three meats today, this one is by far and away my favorite. It doesn't feel like an amalgamation of different grounded meats like the Salisbury steak does, and it's also not coated in a disgusting gelatinous paste like the chicken Alfredo. This is like a nice roast. It feels like a real piece of meat, and I enjoy eating it. Not too shabby. I'm gonna continue.
Okay, yeah, this is my other favorite part too. I think it's after he chews, I think. I'm not 100% sure. It's after he chews, I think.
Not
Oh.
too shabby. I'm gonna continue.
Okay, it says it's after he says I can continue. This is my
Real
favorite
piece
part.
of meat, and I enjoy eating it. Not
After he says I can continue, then this is my favorite part of this portion.
too shabby. I'm gonna continue. It reminds me of a nice beef stew. I was ready for this to be my least favorite one, but that's really good. The problem is that this tasty beef steak, you have to dig through these disgusting, sloppy noodles to find it. The noodles are what, 70, 75, maybe even 80% of this meal? And I think they're disgusting. But before I even realized I'd done it, I've picked through the entire meal and eaten every single piece of beefsteak from this meal. Voluntarily. Well, if you're a fan of beefsteak and you're a fan of disgusting noodles, this is your meal right here. I'll try another noodle. Maybe I just need to give the noodles a more chance. No, I really don't like them. Just not a big pasta guy. I like a ravioli, a stuffed ravioli, but just a floppy noodle, not really my thing. So there we have these 3 frozen Boston Market meals. I gotta say, they were fine. I honestly think the biggest crime of some of these frozen meals is that they're pretty much indistinguishable from any other brand. So if this is more expensive than a Banquet or a Hungry Man, I don't know that you go for any of this. I don't think that the Boston Market label makes it any better of food. In fact, I'm not sure that Boston Market has a hand in preparing this food at all. At the end of the day, though, Boston Market is known for its home-styled cooking, and this is pretty much the opposite of that. Now, if I'm going to rank these, chicken Parmesan easily last place. I would not feed this to my worst enemy. To my worst enemy, I would feed nothing, and they would die in a hole, a pit, or a well of some sort. The bigger decision is beefsteak versus Salisbury steak. And both beefs I enjoyed. This was a higher quality beef, but I still like a Salisbury steak. It tastes weird, but in a way that I like. The problem's in the pasta. This has wet, runny mac and cheese, which I actually kind of liked. It's like these long tapeworm-looking noodles that I just hated. It's tough. I think if I had to pick a meal, I'm talking whole meal, I gotta sit down and eat it for dinner, I'm going with the Salisbury steak because it's more beef. It might not be as good quality, but it's still pretty tasty. And I didn't hate the side. I think I could get through most of the mac and cheese and kind of, like trick myself into enjoying it. I'll just lie to myself enough saying, oh, you like it, you like it, you like it, and eventually it'll be gone. And that was Boston Market. I did not enjoy my trip to frozen Boston Market. I wouldn't really recommend it to anybody. But if you're a fan of frozen food and you choose to visit frozen Boston Market, let me know how.
Okay. The next one is by him, but it's instant holiday dinners. Frozen foods.
We are proud to have been named the world's #1 for both rivers and oceans. They say when you reach...
Yeah, whatever.
Welcome, Brutal Foods. There's always been no place like home for the holidays, but this year it feels like there's no place like a cold, lonely bunker for the holidays. I imagine that for a lot of us, the 2020 holiday season is going to be bittersweet. On the one hand, you get to avoid your family this year without having to make up an excuse, but on the other hand, you don't have anyone to cook you a delicious holiday feast. Not to fear, Home Aloners, for Ian am here, and he have a plan. Instant holiday dinner. That is my objective today. I'm going to cook a Thanksgiving/Christmas feast for one. I'm going to do it with minimal effort, and it's only going to cost $15. So if you're planning on flying solo this holiday season, consider this a guide for how to spend your holiday dollars efficiently and deliciously. First, some ground rules. Rule number 1, we are going for the lowest of the whole purpose of here. I'm looking for frozen food that can be made. And rule number 3,
Okay. Since he did that, I'm just gonna show you what he's saying. I guess it's way slow. Alright, back to the game.
and the dessert. My local grocery store was actually pretty active today. I don't go out very often these days, and normally if I do, I'll go midweek. So it was a little jarring to see it so busy on a weekend. But here I am in the frozen food aisle, and my initial game plan was to find something turkey related. I don't really like roast turkey, but it is a food with strong holiday ties, so it seemed appropriate. Thankfully, I didn't come across any turkey at all that I saw, aside from a Hungry Man that I recently reviewed and will never eat again. So since turkey wasn't an option, I just started looking for something else that I'd like to eat at a holiday feast, and I settled on this Stouffer's meatloaf. Ketchup glazed meatloaf made with natural beef and pork in a home-style gravy with russet mashed potatoes. Our sweet and savory ketchup glaze brings it all together. Brings what all together? I don't know. It. I used to eat the Stouffer's lasagna a lot growing up, and it really wasn't my favorite, so I have a negative reaction to the brand as a whole, but the meat does look rather loafy, so I'm feeling optimistic. Preparation couldn't be easier. First, you cut the filmed event. Yeah! That's my favorite part. Then cook for 4 minutes on high, and then again for 5.5 minutes at 50% power. Actually, now that I think about it, this part could actually be kind of complicated if you don't know how to work your microwave beyond a basic cook. So you can take the time to find out how to set your microwave to 50% power, or you can just be lazy and cook it for a random amount of time and hope that it turns out all right. I'm pretty sure I went with 7 minutes or something. It'll be fine. Cooking isn't an exact science. Any good chef will tell you it's more about feeling, and I feel like 7 minutes is the right amount of time for microwave. It smells pretty good. It smells like any other, frozen TV dinner meat lump, but I like those, so I'm excited. Potatoes are just going to be okay, but that's fine. Looks pretty good too. Honestly, it looks better than a typical Salisbury steak just because it looks like there's more mass there. It kind of rises up out of the gravy so you can see the meat better. I'm pretty excited and very hungry. Smells meat. I would say that smells very meat, actually. Definitely most excited for the meatloaf. I bought it for the meatloaf. The mashed potatoes are kind of an extra add-in just because there wasn't a standalone solo meatloaf. Delicious. This is pretty much what I think about when I think of meatloaf. I think that some meatloaf glazes can be too sweet for me, a little too tomatoey. But this one tastes very savory, very meaty. I like it a lot. Try some mashed potatoes here. They actually have some mass to them and aren't too runny.
All right.
Noticeably better mashed potatoes than the Hungry Man or the Banquet Meals. Stouffer's knows how to do some TV dinner mashed potatoes. I'm gonna get some butter here. Love it. This isn't just a pretty good TV dinner meatloaf, it's just a pretty good meatloaf in general. You can see like some onion in there. It's not just meat. That's pretty impressive.
That was tasty.
Stouffer's classic meatloaf was a huge success. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've ever actually consumed an entire frozen meal during one of these reviews, so that alone should speak to its taste quality. Online reviews seem to be in agreement, with commenters calling the meaty loaf amazing, so good, and beef taste. At $2.79, this is a steal of a meal. It's more than you'd pay for something like a banquet dinner, but it's hard to imagine that you're going to find a better instant meatloaf than this, especially a meatloaf portion for one. Delicious and cost-effective. And while the mashed potatoes in this meal were tasty, it's important to remember that they don't actually count as a side for this challenge. I still need to pick up 1 or 2 frozen sides. The first thing I think about was a tasty green bean, a classic side vegetable. I wanted to find something with a little bit of flair, though. A plain green bean just seems too safe for this show. Instead, I chose these bird's eye crispy green beans, otherwise known as lightly breaded grinbins. Perfect for a side or snack. I think I'll be the judge of that. The one problem is that this is clearly meant to feed more than one person, so we're wasting a bit of money on excess food. They come in at $3.99. Now that we got the green beans, the other obvious dinner side is bread. No holiday meal is complete without a bread of some kind. Typically I get those plain old store-bought rolls, or if I'm feeling a little fancy that day, I'll pick up the Hawaiian sweet rolls, but unfortunately neither of those meet the frozen food requirement of this challenge. So I headed over to the frozen bread section. I briefly considered getting some Texas toast. I do love a good Texas toast, but I ultimately ended up going for a box of Bantam bagels because I saw them on Shark Tank, and that kind of advertising just really works for me.
Since Shark Tank, we've been rolling in dough.
Are you guys excited?
This was an expensive choice, though, at $6.49. In my opinion, bread is probably the most important part of a holiday meal, but there's no reason it should be the most expensive part. I would go back and redo this decision if I could, but I already bought them, so let's eat some beans. The crispy green beans were really promising. The light breading on them reminds me of a green bean casserole, which I hate, but it does make it feel very holiday-y. Holiday-ish? It feels holiday-ish. These crispy green beans really evoke the holiday spirit. That's what I'm trying to say. A little disappointing. Honestly, I feel like it smells a lot better than it tastes. Not that it tastes bad. Not much like a green bean, honestly. I really only taste the breading, which is pretty crispy, but you can tell it's that baked kind of crispy and not a fried crispy, fake crispy. Yeah, I really just taste the salty batter. I don't much taste a green bean. And really, I like green beans. I kind of want to taste the green beans. I was getting this to avoid a mushy, soggy, from a can green bean, but honestly, I'd take that over this. This was kind of disappointing. Just unfortunate. It smelled very good. It smelled a lot better than it tasted. Man, the internet really disagrees with me on these green beans. They've got rave reviews on both www.walmart.com and www.target.com, with a number of reviewers recommending that they be prepared in an air fryer. My opinion, as usual, remains unchanged. Time for the Batman Bagels. Bantam Bagels, the classic. I've already confessed to first seeing these bagels on the hit series of TV commercials Shark Tank, but you might also know them from Starbucks, who serve them in some of their many coffee shops. The idea is pretty simple. They're bagel bites that are stuffed with cream cheese, and you can tell just by looking at them that they're already pre-cooked. The preparation process is mostly just for reheating, though it is important to note that these are supposed to thaw before you cook them. Once they're thawed, though, all you do is toast them for 4 to 5 minutes or until the outside is crispy. I was maybe a little overzealous in my toasting approach. Even though I let this one get a little roasty toasty, it still smells really good. Even this one done, I did the max 5 minutes. Probably should have kept it at the 4 minutes, or at least checked along the way, but I'm sure they're still going to be good. Let's start with the more burned one first. Well, it's definitely burned. Unfortunately, I really can't taste much more than the burned top part, so I'm just going to try and eat the bottom half and leave the top half untongued. Much better. Cream cheese is really tasty. They're not amazing burn. Surprise, surprise. Let's try this one. This one's dark brown, not quite blackened on the top, so it might be a bit better. But it's definitely supposed to be soft, and this is not. It's pretty good, but I feel like I should make another. I know they can be better than this. They're just overdone. Let's make another one. Let's make one more. Looks a little bit better, but honestly, still darker than I'd like. I'd kind of like this color here to be on the top, but even at 4 minutes, came out a bit dark. Maybe it's because I was using a toaster oven, or maybe the directions are just terrible. It's a lot closer to what I was expecting to experience. It's still pretty toasty on the top, but everything else is nice and soft. You can really taste the bread. I feel like when you get a crust on this bagel, it's kind of all you can taste. So definitely keep make them. A very delicious cheese-stuffed bread, but are they a replacement for the traditional holiday dinner roll? No, not even close. No. Online reviews seem pretty divided on the Bantam bagels, with QVC reviewer Devig0216 saying, "Sorry, but right after the bite, I took over the little hole. I got a little cream cheese, and then it was really just a dry bagel." So, you know, little holes. Overall, I would say that both of these sides were busts. The crispy green beans weren't as good as regular green beans, and even if I'd managed to prepare the Bantam bagels properly, I just don't think it's a good fit for a holiday feast idea. I should have gone with the Texas toast, but even then it's no replacement for a classic dinner roll. I do want to say that both of these are better than most of what I've reviewed on Brutal Foods so far, just so we're clear. I'm just not in love with either of them. And now it's time for dessert. Had the Bantam bagels not put such a dent in our budget, I probably would have looked at the Marie Callender single pie slices. That seems like a perfect frozen dessert to finish off this frozen holiday meal. Unfortunately, I was just working with $1 and change here, and most of the frozen desserts are more expensive than that. So I headed over to the Banquet Bargain brand, and would you looky here, a personal pie for only $1? Now that's what I call guaranteed quality. I have access to its soft underbelly. The directions tell us to simply slit the top of the pie crust and it's ready to bake. Since I had problems baking the Bantam bagels in the toaster oven, I decided to use the microwave this time, for better or for worse. Turns out it was for worse, actually. Halfway through cooking the pie, I noticed this little warning here instructing me not to cook it in a microwave that's below 1,100 watts, which my microwave oven definitely is. It seemed too late to switch cooking methods since I was already mostly done with the microwave at this point, so I just cooked it a little bit longer to try and make sure it got cooked through. And I know that it seems like I'm incompetent in the kitchen, and I am, but I promise that I really only have these struggles when I'm doing a frozen food video. And in my defense, that is not exactly the most prominent warning I've ever seen. Hopefully it'll still be good, though. You know in cartoons how pies have like this nice round, dome-shaped looking crust. This is like the complete opposite of that. This is an imploded crust. Doesn't look great. I immediately regret my decision of ordering something kind of funny for dessert instead of actually trying something good. I should have just tried something good, but I was too curious. I had to know if the pie was going to be filled with just the typical apple dessert in a banquet meal. I had to know. Who knows? Maybe it's good. Maybe it's delicious, in fact. I sure hope it's cooked thoroughly. The crust is pretty soft. It cut through very easily there. We're gonna wait for that to cool a little bit. I'm glad that it's an actual pie. I feel like they could have just filled up a bowl with fruit and laid a crust on top. I'm glad it's a full encased pie. That may be where my compliments end. No. It's definitely the same apples as the banquet meals, which is good and bad. It could be better. It could be worse. They're just hot apples and cinnamon. That's about it. It's just so slimy. Can't remember the last time I've had an apple pie, like a real apple pie. Is it supposed to be so slimy? The apples themselves aren't bad. There's just too much of the slime. I don't think the crust is done. It's still mushy, squishy. I feel like it's supposed to be a crust. Even the parts that look a little bit darker, is still very smushy. You could argue that that's user error for me not reading the directions and noticing that my microwave was underpowered. I choose to think that it was just bad instructions. They should be made for stupid people like me. I don't think a properly baked crust would really save it that much. Again, this was kind of a joke choice. I regret it. I think while I was at the store, I felt like I needed one, really cheap, kind of funny option to round out the video. But after eating that really good Stouffer's meatloaf, I'm genuinely curious to what other delicious TV dinners are out there. So I might stop looking for things that I just expect to be bad and, no thanks. No thanks. No. Nothing. I don't think. No, thank you. No. No thanks. Once again, the internet disagrees. This apple pie has rave reviews online, which makes me think that maybe I just don't know what apple pie is supposed to taste like. Maybe I just disagree with the masses about what apple pie is supposed to taste like. Or maybe I've just never eaten a properly prepared apple pie. I mean, this definitely doesn't fit in with that category. So in conclusion, I guess at best we have an inconclusive result. The only item of food that I managed to cook correctly were the crispy grin bins, so I feel like I don't have an accurate view of the other three, but I'm gonna pass judgment.
Okay. And then we're gonna watch his Frozen Breakfast Showdown one.
We are proud to have been named the world's #1 for both rivers and oceans. They say when you reach the top, there's only one.
focusing with my planning.
Good, everyone. I'm Funny Family Halloween costume shirt Ice and Baby Ian. For today, we're going to be trying a few delicious frozen breakfast meals. I hope you're as excited as I am. Let's go to the kitchen. Okay, so normally when I film a video, I do it in the late afternoon, early evening time. That's usually when I got most of my energy going. But today, since we're doing a breakfast video, I thought it would be fun to film immediately after waking up, because that's normally when I should be having breakfast. I already regret this decision, so let's get started. Before I go any further, I have to get coffee, so come on, let's get some coffee. Some people aren't going to be too happy with my decision, but I'm still a Folgers man. Gotta have some Folgers in the morning. Okay, so before we get started, I think it's important for me to discuss my relationship with breakfast, so we get a good, I'm a huge fan of breakfast foods. I like the sausage, I like the egg, I like the cheese. Problem is, I don't like eating in the morning. Something about eating right after I wake up makes me feel gross. I don't know, I don't like it. The breakfast foods are delicious, so I'm really excited to try them. We have 5 different foods from 5 different companies, and they're gonna duke it out in a breakfast battle fight. It's early. Let's see, who do we want to start with? Let's just go left to right here. First up, we are trying the Hot Pockets brand sandwiches, sausage, egg, and cheese with a low-fat mozzarella cheese and sauce in a croissant crust. It looks scary. Looks pretty typical. Looks like a Hot Pocket. I'm a fan of Hot Pockets. Specifically, I'm a fan of the Lean Pockets pepperoni pizza. Those things were my jam for a little while. Man, do I love those Lean Pockets. Okay, so we're supposed to unwrap the sandwich, stick it in the sleeve, and cook it on high for about 2 minutes. And then that's it. It does smell very breakfasty in here, which I'm a fan of. Also a really big fan of sausage, egg, and cheese. It's one of my favorite combinations. Big fan. Big fan. Huge. Giant fan. Big fan. I still feel like half asleep. I need more. Okay, let's wait no longer. I hope I don't burn myself. It's still very, very hot. I can just feel it. Right? It's like a campfire. I could gather around in the cold and keep my young warm around the Yule-tide Hot Pocket log. It's so drippy on the bottom. Not into that. First bite was all crust. I caught a corner, which were usually my favorite parts. All crust. Problem is, the crust doesn't taste like anything. It doesn't taste like a croissant. It doesn't taste like bread. It tastes like nothing. So, kind of a bummer there. Okay. I really like that sausage. I'm actually pretty impressed. That's really tasty. Sausage is really the main star of this meal. I feel like there's not quite as much cheese or egg as I thought there would be. It's mostly sausage, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The more I eat it, the more I like it, honestly. It's not going to replace a homemade breakfast or even a fast food breakfast, but for a grab and go, I need something in the morning because I'm sprinting to my business meeting across town in the desert. The Hot Pockets brand hot sandwiches, breakfast sandwich, is a good option. Really, I think it's the spice in the sausage that makes it so good. It's the flavor that lingers after you're done eating it. It's really good. Really good. I'm still only half awake, so I'm having trouble thinking up a rating system for this video, so I'm going to be rating these breakfast foods once again by a emotion chart. Today specifically I'm going to be using this emotions chart. I guess Hot Pockets sausage, egg, and cheese makes me feel surprised. I'm gonna like maybe animate some the Hot Pockets going into my mouth. That's what it makes me feel like. But I give Hot Pockets sausage, egg, and cheese the rating of surprised. So, congratulations. But we can't just trust me, it's only my show, so who cares what I have to say? Let's see what the internet thinks about these sandwiches. Most of these reviews are pretty positive, and I'm not surprised because it's pretty tasty. Big Boy says, bangers, 5 stars. Can eat them 24/7, greatest things on earth. The consensus seems to be, it's great for a quick, on-the-go breakfast snack, and I tend to agree.
We got soul. Oh yeah, we got soul.
Oh boy, okay. Well, next up, we have Jimmy Dean pancakes and sausage on a stick. This is one of those things where I can't decide if this is an intriguing, cool idea or a horrible, terrifying idea. I'm not totally sure yet. It says it's pancake batter covering a sausage link, and Jimmy Dean does make some pretty good sausage links. My guess is that I'm not gonna like the pancake. My guess is that the pancake is gonna be maybe soggy or weird texture or something. My guess is the pancake's gonna ruin it for me, but let's see. Well, they come individually wrapped. The pancake's also pretty dark. I don't know, I guess I expected more of a blonde pancake situation that would brown up in the microwave, but maybe that's just too unrealistic of expectations. Okay, so we're gonna remove from wrapper and place on a plate, microwave for 50 seconds. Looks very corny doggy. Okay, so I think I might have forgotten to turn this camera on when I was opening this. Sorry. It's done now though, let's get it. I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure what to make of this yet. The smell, I'm gonna poke it. Maybe I just spend the rest of the video making noises like that. I almost feel like I should put some butter on it. It's pancakes, right? I almost feel like I should put some butter on it or dip it in syrup. But I'm just gonna try and plain first, and we can go from there. It smells pretty good, but you can see the wrinkles on top here, which makes me feel like it's gonna be kind of spongy and not great. But here we go.
Kicks me out.
Why don't I like that? I don't like it, but why not? I'm not sure. It's really sweet. It's really sweet. It almost feels like it has a layer of syrup already on it. It says that it's a fully cooked maple sausage link, so it's possible that it's the maple sausage link, making it taste like it has syrup on it already. Would not recommend putting extra syrup on here. It's sweet enough as is. I don't like it. I still can't put my tongue finger on what it is I don't like about it. I think it's a very mushy pancake mixed with a very mushy sausage, and when you chew it a little bit, it just kind of feels like this sugary mush in your mouth. It kind of makes me a little nauseous, if I'm being honest. I guess the nausea could be related to me eating breakfast for the first time in a couple of years. Who knows? But it almost kind of tastes like a funnel cakey. That's what it reminds me of, like a funnel cake fried fair food, which is not great to eat first thing in the morning. I don't know. It could have gone a lot worse, but I think it could have gone a lot better. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. I really hate to say it, but on the feelings chart, it kind of seems like Jimmy Dean's pancakes and sausage on a stick makes me feel a little bit angry. That may be a strong word for what I'm feeling, but man, these kids aren't expressing their emotions as clear as they should. They all look exactly the same. What is the difference between these? Kids, come on. It looks like these have significantly higher ratings than the Hot Pockets, which surprises me. Jeanette says that she would buy them again. A good way to take breakfast on the go and taste great. This review was collected as part of a promotion. Shannon1993 says that she loves it, but when she opened her box, there was a pancake sealed with only half in it. Really disappointed. It looks like someone just bit off the end and stuck it right back in there. Letha R says, mighty good JD pork sausage flap sticks. If you eat these regularly, you are now required to call them flap sticks. They were very good. I would buy them again. I hope you would get their stuffed hash browns as well. This review was collected as part of a promotion. It kind of seems like my opinion differed from the opinions of the general public regarding the flap sticks, but like we always say on the show, I'm right. Don't listen to any of these idiots. Who cares what I have to say? All right, what do we have now? Oh, no. I forgot I bought this. Banquet sausage and gravy deep dish. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that we have a bit of a history with banquet meals. This one was just too strange looking to pass up. It is a breakfast pot pie. I'm a big fan of pot pies, but the banquet label makes me extremely nervous. It does have a flaky crust made from scratch, which sounds promising. Is it just me, or does that look a little bit sad? Does that look a little sad to you? I don't know. I guess it looks okay enough. I'm supposed to cut a slit in the top of it. Somehow. It's very, frozen. Okay, well, hopefully that's good enough, I guess. How long? 4 minutes? I definitely smell the crust I mean, it looks cooked. Here it is in all of its pot pie glory. All I really smell is the crust. If you handed this to me, I would not know that it was a breakfast pot pie. I would just assume it was a really cheapo pot pie. Let's see here. Okay. Well, I want to get some of the crust too.
Yum, yum.
Smells a lot like a cheap sausage, cheap breakfast sausage, which always smells to me kind of like wet dog. It's fine. Honestly, the taste that's coming through strongest is the gravy, probably because there's just so much of it, which doesn't surprise me because it's a banquet meal, so, you know, it's going to be mostly gravy to cut down on the costs, I'm assuming. It tastes like nothing. The sausage is really not too bad. It's obviously not as good as the Hot Pockets sausage. I think I might actually prefer it to the Jimmy Dean sausage because it's not so sweet. I feel like if I sat down and ate this for breakfast, though, I would probably just dig out all of the sausage and eat that because the gravy's not too impressive and the crust doesn't taste like anything. So, what's the point? You know, when you get really close up to it, it kind of looks like an alien planet or something. Okay, so final verdict on the banquet sausage and gravy deep dish. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know, banquet is turning out to be a real, you know, wild card. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's terrible. But it's better than I would expect from banquet. That said, it's still not very good. Honestly, I think the gravy is what really brings it down for me. It's just really weak. You know, I don't mind if you're gonna overload it with gravy on the inside to cut costs. I mean, I mind, but it makes sense. But if you're gonna do that, you gotta have a good gravy. I guess if I were to sum up my feelings into one emotion on the chart, I would say the Banquish? I would probably say that they make me feel empty. Just empty.
Let's look for a second
Opinion. I swear every time I go shopping, I pick up a few so I can actually eat breakfast in the morning. Otherwise, I am not a breakfast person in the morning. Ooh, 1/4. Ee! Love these so much. Wish I could eat one every morning. Lol. I gotta admit, these reviews for these breakfast items are way higher than I expected. It really seems like the convenience of a quick breakfast makes up for the taste for a lot of people. This is a very quick breakfast. Not gonna say it's delicious, but it is pretty quick. I should not have gotten 5 of these. I should have gotten 3. I don't know what I was thinking, but I already said 5, so I've committed. Let's get number 4 over with. It's great value, bacon, egg, and cheese croissant. This just looks scary. These microwave sandwiches, I always try to avoid because they're never very good. Oh my God. I'm very picky about my breakfast sandwiches, and I can already tell that I'm probably not going to have a fun time with this one. This just does not look fun. Let's open it up. We can examine every part of this sandwich before we heat it up. So this is what we're going to be eating. We've got the croissant over here. It looks fine. I mean, it looks like bread at least. Is this bacon? Is it supposed to be bacon? The bacon, it sure is a patty of some type of meat. It's very thin, definitely not as robust a bacon as it could be. And then there's the egg and cheese. And I don't know. Is this making anyone else hungry? Because man, oh man, do I want to eat this? Okay, it's actually supposed to be in the bag, so I gotta put all these pieces back in the bag. Microwave on 30% power for 1 minute, microwave on high for 40 seconds. That's a pain. At the bottom. Okay. Well, here's our lovely breakfast. It's very soggy. It looks very soggy. It feels very soggy. It's just not a good situation over here right now. It's just, things are looking bleak. Surprisingly, the smell that comes through the most out of all of this business is the bacon patty. So maybe that'll be good. I could pull this out and only eat the bacon if I wanted to. Oh no. Nope. It started out okay. It started out, I was a little bit impressed. I mainly just tasted the bacon, which is a great flavor. But once the egg and the cheese caught up with me, no, just no. There's like a little bit of cheese hanging off on this side. No more, thank you. Let's just try the bacon patty. Maybe if I just eat this. That is some really crappy bacon. This breakfast croissant is pretty much everything I hate in frozen breakfast, all at once. One of the things I hate most about it is the bag. When it has you cook it in the bag, what it does is it steams the sandwich. And I think they do that to melt the cheese, maybe. But what ends up happening is it makes the entire sandwich just soggy. I've got this thing about wet bread. I don't want moist, I don't want damp bread.
Don't make my bread soggy. It grosses me out, makes me gag. I don't like it.
The bacon was at least bacon. It wasn't great, but I recognized it as bacon, and that's about as big of a compliment as I can give to it. It really seems like people are digging these breakfast items, so maybe people like the Great Value one as well. It's got 4.5 stars, 181 reviews. What am I missing here? Nini says they're Tres Bon. It was similar in flavor to the ones BK sells.
Gimme, girl.
Says, so good. Goodbye, Burger King drive-thru. 5 stars. I've never had Burger King's breakfast sandwiches. I'm not a huge Burger King fan, but a lot of the reviews are comparing it directly to Burger King's croissant breakfast sandwiches. So if you're a fan of those, maybe give these a try.
A yummy, tasty hoot, a party in your tummy. Hey, where did you get that flute?
At the end of the day, I guess these breakfast sandwiches make me feel enraged. This is just the worst emotion chart I think I've ever seen. You can't tell the difference between half of these emotions. These aren't going to help kids understand what they're feeling. Hopeless, disgusted, ashamed, jealous, depressed, exhausted. It's all the same feeling. It's all the exact same feeling, kids. Don't worry. If your face looks like that, you're probably feeling all of these things at once. I will say that I'm feeling pretty ecstatic that we're finally on our last breakfast item. Okay, we are ending on a high note. We're eating a kolache, one of the best breakfast items on the planet. Nothing too exciting to see here. It's a roll with a sausage in it. Alright, don't let me down, Kalachi. Don't let me down. Let's end on a high note here. It smells okay. I don't know that I'm going to say that it smells great, but it smells okay. It's a roll with a sausage in it. Revolutionary, really. Can your brain comprehend it? Man, the plate is just wet, which I've expressed how I feel about wet breads, but maybe, I am bummed. I'm sad. That bite made me sad. It has nothing to do with how it's assembled or prepared. I'm just not a fan of the sausage that they use. I don't know anything about Ray Day Foods. I don't know if they make sausage just regularly, but I'm just not into their choice of sausage for their sausage roll. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was edible. It was fine. Nothing wrong with it, really. I just wasn't into the sausage that they chose. It definitely did not remind me of the kind of sausage that I usually find in those sausage rolls. I expect the reviews to be pretty good on this one because the breakfast items that I absolutely hated, people still seem to really enjoy, so people probably like this one as well. I can't even find these on the internet. I can find some similar sausage rolls, but they also have cheese in them. I'm having trouble finding... I can't find these on the internet. So it's very possible that these don't actually exist. But I don't have any other reviews for this one, so you guys just have to go on my opinion, which is... meh, they're okay. If I'm being honest, they kind of make me feel lonely, helpless, disgusted, ashamed, jealous, depressed, and exhausted. But now, it's time to find out how these breakfasts stack up against each other. To do that, I'll be stacking the boxes from worst breakfast all the way up to the best breakfast. So there we have our rating here with our champion on top. That was a lot of fun. It was fun and my stomach hurts, so way to go. That's going to be it for the breakfast this morning. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me in the AM today. Don't think I'm going to be doing another morning filming video anytime soon, but it was pretty interesting. It was pretty nice. It did kind of feel like we woke up together to eat some really crappy breakfast, and that's fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna get something to eat after this, and yeah, this is stupid Greek kid, but yeah, I'm not playing him in London anymore. He's stupid. So, I'm gonna go get something to eat, and yeah. And I'll just see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, see, you suck at 10 pin, so shut up. You suck at 10 pin. You idiot. You suck. You suck at 10 pin. What a loser. What a loser. You idiot. You suck at 10 pin. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.